minute, fellas. Look here.
Stand by.
One for C-Lab, two for Drogo, three for Wolverine to round out the trio. In this episode, everybody dies.
Broadcasting live from inside the Power Band. This is The Blob. In this episode, everybody dies. I'm your host, the Wolverine, along with my Fremen companions, Jarhigo.
Hello.
And Cyclops Forever!
Yo.
Welcome to the show, folks. That's right. This week we are coming at you live from Arrakis, covering the filming and celebrating the movie Dune. Dune.
The new Dune.
That's right. We watched not one, not two, but two Dune movies, and now we can't wait to talk about it. Let's start the show. High in level.
I want to defer. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this new one, high level.
Okay, it's like that. All right.
Yeah.
Old Ben Higo, you want to go first? Or you want me to?
High lev. I don't have a high lev on this.
Cool. Sounds good. There you have it, folks.
There you go. No high lev.
High lev. This is tough to high lev because I watched both movies. They're both good. They both got a lot going on. I guess just focusing on the new one, I just loved it. It was so good. I think last week when we were chatting about it, because we basically did this show last week in between doing the other show.
No doubt.
We couldn't stop talking about it. Ben, you had said, I think you said that like the aesthetic was very similar to David Lynch's, you know, like the look.
I thought so.
Yeah, the look and the scope and all of that, you know. It definitely had a bunch of that. But it was definitely its own take too, which I really dug, you know, like, and especially now being older, like when I saw Dune when I was younger, I was like really stoked for like a sci-fi movie, but like I had no idea what I was watching. Like the material is like really complicated, you know, and then to read the books later, you know, like I realized how complicated it was because I gave up halfway through like God Emperor of Dune or whatever. So I don't know. I really, really enjoyed it. Like the cast was great. I liked Villeneuve's take on the movie. I like the way he does stuff. So I kind of liked it by default. He's got a really great style and way of storytelling that I think is really fantastic. And I really, really enjoyed it, man. All of the 3 times I watched it. What can I say? I'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah, I feel similarly.
Chad Klops, go.
I think at
Sly Claps.
at the highest level here for me, I'm a little bit torn because it's not a whole movie.
Oh boy.
I think this movie will.
Oh, Christ.
Well, I'm not actually going to bitch about it. I just feel like it's going to be even better when you watch it side by side with the second part.
Yes.
Yes.
I feel like the fact that the second part isn't there, it kind of does a little bit of a disservice to this movie. And I feel like when you watch them back to back, it's just going to be like so fucking good that in a way, it's kind of a bummer that the studio refused to allow him to film both at the same time, just because of how poorly Blade Runner did.
Yeah.
I mean, Villeneuve said that he's kind of all right with it, and that this filming was exhausting, so maybe it would have been really, really tough to do both. But I found, like, by the time the end of this movie rolled around, I was like, no, keep going. You know, like, I really want to see the rest of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like,
I felt the same way.
It's not to say the movie sucks or anything like that at all. It's just I would love to see the second part, and waiting a couple years is going to be
Torture.
a challenge. So
I agree with that statement for sure.
the aesthetics, very much take a page out of Lynch's kind of book a bit, and you know, Villeneuve said a few times in interviews that he really wanted to not rely on anyone else's creativity and really go to the books. And I think there are a few hors d'oeuvres to Lynch.
Definitely.
Sure.
But overall, it was a really enjoyable film. We'll get into the soundtrack, I'm sure. The first viewing, I was very thrown by the soundtrack, but I've listened to it, like, I don't know, probably 10 or 12 times this week while working, and, like, settled into it, and it definitely fits. It was just so alien that it really kind of pulled me out of the film a couple times the first viewing, but I really enjoyed it on
Wow.
subsequent viewings. So I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious to
Wow.
talk about it some more.
It pushed me headlong into the
Did
film,
it?
hearing some really
Same,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
So good.
absolutely.
So yeah, it's a very interesting film for sure. And as I said in other episodes, if anyone can do it, Villeneuve can do it, and I think he did a good job. And I'm very excited for this next one that will probably get made at this point.
Yeah, I just quickly want to echo what you said. We got to the end, and it's like they're walking into the desert. You see, homeboy riding by in the worm, surfing the worm, man. And I was like, God, we're just getting started here. Can't wait to see the rest.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm glad that they kind of, he's taking more time with the material, so we get more. So on the one hand, it's like, yeah, I really wanted to see the second part right away, but I'm glad that he's, we got 2.5 hours that basically led up to, what's essentially halfway through the first film. You know what I mean? Like where Lynch got to timeline wise. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more there, a lot more detail and layer and all of that, and there's some stuff that was in there that was great that was not even in the original. So. I really liked it, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait for the second one. And it's like it was great to be able to see more. Because and I think the reason is because the book is so good, and Lynch's movie is so good, but it's one of those movies where like if you watch it and you haven't read the book like I did, you're like, what is that? There's so many weird, cool things. And you're just like, well, what is that all about? What are these people all about? And what does this do? And, like you got to see more in this movie, which I loved. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
And at the same time, not more. I don't know.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. To echo both of you, I guess what I'll say in regards to High Level is this isn't perfect, but I've seen it 3 times and I still really like it. And I'm super relieved that I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
This has been like such a long time coming that, I'm not disappointed at all. I don't love everything about it.
Yeah.
But it's really, really fucking good.
It's solid for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I really hope that he gets a chance to do at least Dune Messiah, if not the third book as well. I think Dune and Dune Messiah.
I've heard that he's already
together would be
greenlit for 2 more. So
yeah, it'd be great to see because
So
that
means-
first 3 book is just the first 3 books is such a great arc.
yeah,
What's the order? Remind me of the order of the first 3 books. It's Dune, then what?
Dune Messiah and Children of Dune,
Dune Messiah and Children of Dune.
then God Emperor.
Okay. All right. Okay. It's making me want to reread.
Yeah, it'd be a good time to reread it. I didn't want to read it before this because I just would have been like, no, that's totally wrong,
Totally not what happened in the book.
Because I read it, I don't know, 6 months ago or whatever, and I didn't want to nitpick the movie. It's pretty fucking solid. There's just only, I guess like to fire up the gripe engine.
Go ahead.
The only kind of thing that I think is a missed opportunity is UA didn't really get much of a chance to kind of develop his betrayal and kind of really understand how deep the betrayal was. And Peter de Vries was practically not a character, and I feel like Lynch's Dune did a little bit of a better job there, and I think it was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, to resonate with you there, one of my main gripes about the movie is that they didn't spend. I don't think they spent enough time on the peripheral characters.
Yeah.
In general, they glossed over a lot of the characters. Like Thufirhawa is barely in the movie.
Yeah.
Like you said, Peter de Vries, just for such a great character, there's barely any of him. So I think that there could have been more there.
I don't feel like it would have been. I don't think it would have been a loss. Like an extra 5 or 6 minutes could have made all the difference in the world for all of those characters.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I want to see Gurney play the 9-string baliset.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, totally. But I mean, even like just like kind of flipping it upside down for a second. Like, there's not enough Gurney in Patrick Stewart in the first one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, there's way more Gurney in this one, and it's like you want to see more Gurney in the first one.
Yeah, no
he's
doubt.
just like, it's like baliset, like the fighting, and then like he's gone for most of the movie, and then they run into him in the desert. You know, it's like, hey, let's go have a beer. So like, you know, I don't know. Like I feel what you're saying. Like, especially, well, really both of the mentats, but you know, like, I mean, me in particular, but like I think we're all like super into David Dasmalkian right now, and like we've talked about him endlessly. You know, like we just did freaking Suicide Squad, and he was awesome in that, and it was really great to see him get like a big juicy part. And like this is a big juicy part, but like there's just not enough of it in the movie, man. So
Yeah.
agreed. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a real
also,
ball buster.
well, yeah, and also what's his face that played Thufir, you know, he's like we talked about how great he was in Devs, and you know, like I did a little bit of reading about him. I didn't realize he was such an accomplished, like, you know, stage actor, man. Like that guy is a force. And now he's doing like all of this like television and film, and he's really great. And like, you know, Freddie Jones and Brad Dourif were like such integral parts of the original film.
yeah.
And I think Ben's right. Like there's not enough of those two characters, you know.
Yeah. I was going to say the ball busters, you know, with Gurney and Thufir, they come back later in the story. So
Sure.
we'll probably see them again. But, you know, Piter is fucking gone. Like, that's it.
And Yue as well, you know? Like, it's just, yeah. I mean, they did a reasonable job of Yue. I mean, they didn't cover some of the finer points, like the conditioning being unbreakable and Harkonnen breaks it. But it's totally understandable how that would just get skipped over, you know? So it's really just Piter's character that just, I think, was a huge missed opportunity.
Yeah, but I agree with you only because like we didn't get enough Yue in the first one. You know, like it's nearly identical in terms of like how much they put him into the story in both films. You know, and you know Dean Stockwell plays him in the original. Like the original movie, the cast is easily as good, if not better, than this cast. You know, that's one of the really cool things about both of these movies is that like the cast is like the most excellent people you could get, you know?
Except for Momoa.
Hey, dude, come on. Let's go out in the desert, bro. You got some... Yeah, I mean, come on, man.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
He sounds like this dude. I went four-wheeling up in New Hampshire a couple weeks ago, man. We blew a tire on the trail, and everybody was like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to go back and talk to Randy. Yeah, you're gonna have to go back and talk to Randy." And we went in and talked to Randy, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to charge you for that tire. It's a sidewall puncture, you know." And it was so Momoa, dude. Like, he didn't look anything like Momoa, but it just had the same kind of feel.
I love it.
Yeah, bro, we're gonna have to go out in the desert. Did you put on some muscle? No, you didn't, bro. All right, let's go.
As he randomly flips open doors on his bleep bloop, pushes buttons.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and grabs his trident, you know.
Beep, beep, boop, beep. Why does he have a giant beard at the beginning of the movie when he's like on Caladan, right?
Yeah.
But then he doesn't have one when he's in the desert. Like, don't you think it would be the opposite way? Like, he would have grown a big crazy beard while he was in the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait a second. Wait, did he have a beard when he was on Caladan?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he gets out of that. He gets out of the ship, and he's got it like I don't know if it's like a beard or a giant goatee or something, but anyway.
He was like, "Yeah, sorry, dude. I just came off of shooting Aquaman, so I still got all this facial hair. Don't worry, though. I'm going to shave it off by the time we get to Arrakis, bro."
I love it. I don't know. I got nothing against Momoa, but it was a strange casting.
Well, look, I want to say this because I said it when we were doing the in-between Dune show last week, so that the fans can hear this. Like, I don't dislike Jason Momoa. Like, he was great as Khal Drogo and
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, and I need to watch more of his stuff. Like, he does that show on Netflix, Frontier. Like, he's got a bunch more stuff, and I want to see more of him because right now I've just got this Aquaman thing in my head, and it's bugging the hell out of me.
Yeah, the drunk.
And
Aquaman.
I know he's good. Yeah, exactly. Hey, dude, they finally figured out a way to make Aquaman cool.
Give him a bottle of whiskey.
Hey, bros, I know you guys don't like Aquaman, but I gotta tell you, they figured out how to a way to make. Oh my god, I totally screwed that up. I know nobody likes Aquaman, bro, but they figured out a way to make Aquaman cool. They gave me a whole shitload of tats, and I'm drinking a ton of booze.
That's it. That's all it takes.
Yeah, I don't hate him in this. I thought he did a good job. I don't know if he was the right choice for Duncan.
I agree.
I don't think he was. Yeah, I was thinking that Jon Snow would have been a good casting.
I don't know who would be, but
wait, who, Chad? You guys were kind of saying the same
Jon
thing.
Snow, Kit Harrington or whatever. I think would have been a pretty interesting cast. Somebody like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who, but somebody.
Considering the rest of the books and whatnot, I think the Idaho casting is really important.
I agree.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. Momoa is, I think, just a little too recognizable.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
I even kind of feel like,
despite the fact that like Oscar Isaac is in this, and he's like been in everything.
he was good though, man. I even like back to kind of glossing over characters. I kind of even feel like they did that with the Baron, man. I don't really feel like the Baron was made as twisted as he should have been. Like he was kind of like, oh, he's a scary kind of lump of flesh, but he's like so fucked up. Like he's such a twisted fuck. And it really wasn't overly conveyed. I don't think.
I don't think maybe there wasn't as that's a really interesting comment. Well, first I thought you were saying that we didn't get enough of him, like Piter and Thufir. Which I was going to agree with. There could have been more Baron, and I didn't feel like, and maybe this is like an actor choice, like Stellan Skarsgard. I mean, come on, dude, he's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, he was like the best choice.
He's great.
I don't think he got the crazy that I can't remember the actor's name right now. That played him in the original. Like he had like the
Kenneth McMillan.
Yeah, Kenneth McMillan had the crazy going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I think added that layer that I think maybe was missing, like what you're saying, Chad.
I don't know. I feel like Stellan Skarsgård's Baron was definitely more menacing.
Yeah,
I feel like that like unhinged, kind of silly craziness that the other guy did was. I mean, it was good for the movie, but I don't know if that's how I pictured that character when reading the book.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
Maybe I just mean it in the sense of like I think that there was an opportunity for some horror style violence. Maybe like I think the Harkonnens are so fucked up and they just like torture people and just destroy people's souls, and it's just such a vicious house that it kind of felt more like just like that's the bad guy, as opposed to like, man, those are some twisted fucks. That's maybe what I'm driving at.
Yeah, the only thing you get is which is pretty twisted, is the like spider thingy.
Oh, that was so creepy.
Which I was like, is that Huey's wife?
Right? Jesus.
What?
Because it's clearly like it was clearly a person that was,
modified
by like the, exactly. Tlaxu or whatever. But, I was like, I wonder if that's Yuri's wife.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I couldn't really see it very closely, but it just seemed like something they would do,
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, we cut your wife's head off and put it on a spider.
So fucked. I mean, they didn't totally blow it with the Harkonnens, but I just feel like maybe a bit more twistedness would have benefited. Bautista did a good job as Beast Rabin, I thought. Like, I think his anger really sold Beast Rabin.
Yeah.
Raban,
guys. Yeah.
I'm going to mispronounce half the names in here because I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to go ahead and disagree with you there. No, I do agree, actually. He was, Bautista was great. In fact, when I saw the trailer, whenever the hell that was originally, I was like, oh, yeah. Like, duh. Like, who better? You know what I mean? Like, he's perfect, dude.
Dude, that scene where he, like, screams and that girl, like, I don't know, is, like, frightened or whatever was just so perfect.
So good. No, he does a good job, but again, like I could make a very strong argument that we don't get enough of him either.
Mm.
You know, like I'm kind of starting to feel like the gripe engine is centering around, you know, the second ring characters are not represented enough in this new movie, you know, and I mean that in the most respectful way to Denis, because like I got nothing but respect for this guy, dude. He really is a fantastic storyteller and director, but like we just want to see more of him. You know what I mean? And maybe we will in the second part. But you know, he was great as Raban, dude, and we didn't get enough of him.
Yeah, that was interesting that the Harkonnens were like all some variant of a goth Mr. Queen.
Dude, totally. Marilyn Manson, Mr. Clean.
It's like a interesting choice that they were all like, pale and bald, and like all their servants were like pale and bald. It was weird.
The servants, I think they did a good job with the
Prime
servants.
just loses their hair.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the Baron was in. He was in a giant Nair bath at the end there with some motor oil.
Totally, dude.
Yeah, with some motor oil, just for good measure.
Just because why not?
Yeah.
Well, when you're recovering from inhaling poisonous gas, what you need is
Some motor
Nair
oil.
and some
Bit of
motor oil,
10W30
really.
and
Some Nair.
It's a nice
You're not-
balsamic vinegar
Yeah,
reduction.
definitely. And you're not just like sitting in it like a hot tub. You are like immersed, dude. He was so into it, man.
no doubt.
He spent more time in it than he did above with his head above it.
It's good for you.
Sticks to your ribs. You know, folks, if you don't have any oatmeal, I recommend a nice hot bath full of 10W30 motor oil, a little bit of Nair, and some balsamic vinaigrette. Sticks to your ribs. Keeps you going for the morning. Now I'm picturing Brimley.
Dude, Brimley is Harkonnen? Fuck yeah.
No, well, yeah, okay. I didn't even go
right.
there in my mind. Like Brimley is Baron Harkonnen, yes, but the first thing that jumped into my mind was like the kind of the gothy bug armor and him with like a shaved head, no eyebrows, but the mustache.
Yep.
Yeah, Mr. Villeneuve, I'll do your movie for you, but I'm not going to shave my mustache.
I can't do it, sir.
This is my moneymaker.
Well, we into actor territory here?
We could do Caladan.
Caladan? Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Wasn't much there.
No.
It's like, what is Caladan like? It's like Maine. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, freaking cliffs and water and shit and like, you know.
Lots of fjords.
Yeah, fucking wind and...
Jürgen from the Jürgen Fjords.
Exactly. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, all these like gravestones that have like, you know, what's tantamount to like Egyptian glyphs on them, you know?
Yeah, I'll take a death here, but down in the corner near the side of one of those cliffs is Luke Skywalker milking some giant thing to get some blue milk.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. All right. Well, we'll take that much needed death first and foremost.
Yeah.
That was like the weirdest choice
Oh,
ever.
dude, that was so fucked.
Dude. I was going to say it's like you look down and there's Bobby with like a little stand, you know. He's like, "Hey, I got lobster rolls here, guys."
Hey, you moof milker.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just Oscar Isaac being in that scene with the gravestones, but I definitely got some Star Wars vibes there.
Yeah, well, duh. Dude was Poe Dameron, man.
He was a good Duke, though, I thought.
Yes.
He was great. Like I always loved Jürgen Prochnow, period, as an actor. And I loved him as
Run, you fools! Sorry.
Duke. No, it's okay. I loved him as Leto, but Oscar Isaac did a really good job.
Maybe it's just seeing the whole family over there, you know, Paul and the Duke and Jessica on Caladan before going to Arrakis and stuff. I thought that was well handled, you know.
Yeah, and it was good to
Paul
kind
and his mom having breakfast and stuff, and it's just very like, oh, you know, paradise cloudy, rainy, beautiful, lush Caladan, and then they're gonna go to the desert planet. It was just it was a cool. I don't know, it was subtle, but they handled it well, and it was the music tied it in well, etc.
I like how they took their time with it, Chad.
Yeah.
So we got to see what it looked like. Like I think Lynch obviously was constrained, time, budget, all that. And, a lot of it was very dark. A lot of it was filmed at night, or took place at night. But like, I really liked that we got to see more of what the world was like,
Yeah.
So I was down with that. And to really get the sense of how lush and watery it was, before we go to like, Sandpaperville.
Really reaching for that one. I love it.
Wow.
I was reaching way too far. That's a death, dude.
That's definitely a death.
Sandpaperville.
Come back to me. I can do
Holy
better.
shit. Yeah. Yeah, there's some good set design and stuff on Caladan. Like, I just remember like looking at it and, like they had like I forget what they called them, but the floating lights.
Oh, yeah. Glow globes, I think it was.
No, I had the glow globes. Like seeing that like in action in this was cool. It's like none of the rooms actually have any lights in them. It's like a giant castle. So it's like they just have these things that follow you around and everything is almost like candlelight.
Yeah.
Like seeing that played out there was pretty cool.
It was very cool, man, because like in the Lynch one, they had the same type of thing, but the rooms were lit as well. Like you couldn't really see where it was coming from, but there was definitely light in the rooms that looked like it was coming from a source, not the glow globes or the orbs. You know what I mean? So you didn't really get that sense of it, in the first one, but in this one, you definitely get the sense of it. And he does enough like wide shots that you can like see like a good portion of the room with the glow globe, and you can see that there's clearly no other light source. I really like that.
I think one of the things that a movie helps drive home versus reading it in the book is just how much of like a period piece Dune is. It's not like future sci-fi per se. It's like feudal kind of Knights of the Round style sci-fi where, they've shunned all computers, etc. And the glow globes kind of showing a torch or candlelight kind of lighting and all of these like different kingdoms fighting each other. And I really like how it's like retro futuristic sci-fi, it's not the Star Wars pew pew lasers kind of thing.
Right. Meaning,
Yeah.
you're saying that like, well, wait, what are you saying?
I just like that sometimes I like sci-fi that's like distant future hyper technology, AI machines implanted into brains, just like super futuristic shit. And this is not that. This is like, civilization that relies on the humanity of everything. Like there's no computers, there's no AI, there's none of that shit. It's just people, which is very similar to kind of like Arthurian style period pieces or something along those lines, but it's mixed in with like this crazy technology stuff.
Robots and computers are pretty much the only technology that's not advanced in the Dune universe.
Sure.
It just doesn't, it's like the civilizations don't revolve around the technology.
Yeah.
Like, or the story doesn't revolve around the technology much, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what I like about it.
Secondary to the, the world building and the politics and the, religious stuff.
But even
go ahead.
Like
wait, hold on, Chad. Hold on.
Okay.
I want to hear the rest of that, Ben.
No, it's basically done.
Okay. Sorry, Chad.
It's all good.
Proceed.
Just Skype. Even just like the ornithopters or like the other technology, I suppose the ornithopters in particular, they definitely have like an old school aviation vibe, like if you think about like newer fighter jets these days, it's all about computer fly-by-wire bullshit. Whereas you go back to like, the Vietnam era stuff, it's just like a billion switches and it's all mechanical and manual. And I just kind of love how the technology, like the ornithopter, is like super manual and super mechanical. So like even though the technology is super advanced, it feels very mechanical, and I appreciate that aesthetic.
Yeah, it's very analog. And I mean, if I don't know. I don't know if they reference that stuff in the actual Dune series, but like Ben knows, and I've mentioned it here before, like I read the books in chronological order. So I started with the prequel books, not written by Frank Herbert.
Oh yeah.
So I read like the Butlerian Jihad and all that shit. So we know why technology has that place in this universe. But by the same token, I really I dig that it's analog. It's the focus is not on the technology like so many science fiction stories and films. It's about in the excuse me, in the world itself, like in the book and in the film, it's about the people, it's about the characters, man, and like evolving humanity. You know what I mean? Like, and the addition of something like the spice and what it does to people, and people developing, abilities like the Bene Gesserit. You know what I mean? I really like that a lot about this universe, So I'm with you 100%.
One thing, Chad, that's very in keeping with your sort of medieval theme is the fact that everybody fights with swords again.
Yeah, totally.
It's like
it's super cool.
The advent of the Holtzman shield, like bullets can't penetrate it. You can't use beam weapons on it because it explodes like an H bomb. So everybody just goes, it's like, no, I'm wearing a shield, so you're going to have to fight me with a sword.
It's great.
So it's kind of an interesting take on it. And I thought they did a tremendous job with like the kind of warfare that they wage in the Dune universe in this movie. Like it was just excellent. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, the shield stuff is really well handled. Even just, I really appreciated the like blue-gray shield and then the red. It turns red when a person gets through the shield. I thought that was a clever way to make it really clear what was happening for people that might not have a ton of experience in the universe as well,
Yeah.
You can just you pick up what's going on visually real quick, and you don't need a half an hour explanation of the fucking shields, you know what I mean? Yeah, it was really well handled.
Yes.
And are you referring to the ship shield stuff too? Because that was pretty cool. The like slow bullet blowing up the ship stuff when Gurney's running around with the space bagpipes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that was cool as fuck.
Yeah, there was great stuff there. Just like the drop ships coming in and, the solder car and the, all the actual, like, just, armies of men running at each other with swords, like that kind of stuff. Duncan and the ornithopter, like, getting away and, like, the mothership chasing him and firing those, like, transparent beam weapons at, like, just all of that shit was like, yes, this looks right. Like it just struck me as that was, like, a really good adaptation of what was something like what my mind was thinking when I was reading it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Very cool.
Man, those ornithopters are like the fucking coolest thing in the world.
Super cool.
I'm totally like hoping that they make those toys, and I'm buying one of those for my kids just because it's such a cool design.
And by that, of course, you mean buying one for yourself. Yep, we got you.
Buy one for myself, yeah. Sleeping with it in my bed and cuddling it. Yeah.
They're so cuddly, though.
They are.
Just like I got Mayor McCheese for my kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Because they love Mayor McCheese.
Dude, they do now.
Who doesn't?
But yes, they loved him. They begged me for him.
Yes, the ornithopters were definitely very cool.
Yeah, they were. I also liked the, not to take away from the ornithopters, actually, just to stick on that for a second, like, I really liked how they would, like, tuck the wings and dive, Yeah. Like, I was like, that is super interesting, man, Like, it was almost like a free fall nosedive, and we got to see that numerous times, which I really liked a lot.
It's super cool, man. Especially that, like, I think it was one of the early examples where I think Duke Leto did it, dove down, and then just flipped the wings out at the last minute and soared over the surface of the dunes on the way to that spice frigate or whatever it was, or spice harvester.
Yeah.
Spice frigate. There you go.
Spice frigate.
No, that's where freaking Oatcano freaking digs up all his oatmeal, dude.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
That's actually a great marketing idea.
No, wait,
dude.
it's powdered toast,
Powdered toast, man.
Powdered toast, man. Yeah, dude, a Dune cinnamon toast crunch marketing crossover. I'd totally buy a box of that.
Ooh.
Now with 10% more spice melange.
Yeah, and then it's kind of like the Monopoly game at McDonald's, where like one in 10,000 boxes they sprinkle like peyote into it or something.
I was gonna say like the prize in the box should be like a crisp knife or something.
Yeah, totally. But it's like it's diagonally like the whole box.
No, even better. It's too big, dude. It'd have to be a gum jabber.
Gum jabber.
Every box comes with its own poison gom jabbar.
Sally, don't unsheath it or you'll have to kill your brother. The gom jabber.
Charlotte Rampling will feed you a bowl while holding a needle at your neck. The gun is good. The penis is bad.
The Penic Erection.
That's right. Now I have a Penic Erection.
Yes. Sardosh commands it. Where the fuck were we?
Oh, I know where we were. We were talking about the Thopters, but I was going to mention that I really liked the look of the Harvesters. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I like the way they looked in the original one, but like this matched the rest of, the sort of industrial design of everything, like with multiple large, like, track tires, like tread tires, tank tread tires, and
Tank
just,
treads.
Yeah, thank you.
Tank tread wheelie thingies, roundy wheelie tank.
The tank
treads.
things with the things, right? Yeah, so exactly. Tank treads, thank you. And it just had a more of like an industrial look, like, I don't know, something that would do that, rather than the other ones that were kind of like, kind of weird and futuristic for the sake of being weird and futuristic,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how I felt about the carry-alls, though. I'm kind of torn on that design where it's like a flying saucer or something that comes down, but then like these weird elongated balloons like explode into action and lift the thing. I don't know.
I think
It's kind of cool, but I was also kind of torn on it,
I think I agree. I agree that I was torn on it. I think it was because the digital effect of the balloons inflating looked fake. There were a few effects that weren't quite there for me, and I feel like that was one of them.
Yeah, and like the weird grabber mechanisms that were like a slap bracelet or something. I don't know. It was just, it was an interesting design, but it's something about it just doesn't ring true to me for whatever reason. Yeah.
I'm totally feeling that. Like I
love the slap bracelet number 4 has failed, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
It's like a fat dude who, like, one of the ends of his suspenders came loose. Shit.
It was just too, like, I don't know, the logic of it, like with like the carryall would come flying in and then it would attach and then it all of a sudden it turns into a hot air balloon. It's like, what? Like I that just didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. I didn't notice it the first time I watched it, but then the second time I watched it, I was like, well, that was a choice they went with.
You did that.
That was okay. All right. That happened.
Yeah, it was a little bit weird.
Fuck.
I think you said it earlier, it's not perfect, and that's definitely an example of one of those like kind of weird choices.
Yeah, it's overlookable. It's not,
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, but if you choose to focus on it, it's kind of funny.
Yes.
What did you guys think of the worms?
Yeah, I liked him, man.
That was on my list, but yeah. I definitely like the worms. I like the worms in both movies for different reasons.
Go on.
And those reasons are, I think,
Number one,
They look like real worms.
Number 2, I love worms.
Because I love worms.
and I love pills that give worms to ex-girlfriends.
Y'all just don't get it.
Firstly, I think the worms are really well done in both movies. And that's saying a lot for 1984. You know, I like the sort of the three-pronged mouth in the original. That seemed very realistic, while at the same time the sort of single gaping maw of the worms in this one also seemed like it would be real, like it would work. They were just two different takes. I don't know, like both equally good and great. I really liked the worms. I like that we got to see more worm sign and cruising under the sand, and like, you know, watching that one worm dive after they escaped to the rocks, you know, was really cool, because the sand just like,
so awesome.
You know, to a creature that big, it just looked like water. It was kind of, You know, it was like a cool scene because it was like there they were on the rocks, and then she actually is like, you know, hey, you know, get back, kind of pulls him back because there's like a wave, a literal wave of sand, you know, and it's like for them coming from like a water planet, you know, it was just kind of a cool little moment there, you know.
But it's not watery. Like it was like just a little bit of weight and friction there too. It was super plausible, super realistic.
Yes, very much so. Very cool.
Sorry to interrupt you, Benny.
Yeah, whatever.
What did you think of the worms?
Continue. I think more so the sound design and the nature of how like what you were talking about with the you know, like the worm turns over and dives back into the sand, and it is absolutely like water. Like
definitely
something about what the fucking worm does to the sand, like, you know, when it's coming up, like the sand around it turns into like quicksand, like people start falling into it. You're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't even articulate now. Let me try and come back at that again. You know, like the Fremen device that moves the sand out of the way when you're trying to get out of
the sand compactor. Yeah.
So like clearly they came up with that idea based on the worm. So something the worm is doing is causing the sand to actually like liquefy, you know, as it's coming up out of the sand, or, you know, as it's chasing you, the sand in front of it is like, there's no integrity to it. Like you're running and then all of a sudden your feet just sink into it. Like, so there's something going on there with the worms and how they get around in the sand rather than just like brute force crushing into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I liked that aspect of it. I thought it was really like, it made it more alien and weird and cool, you know, that, and it made it more menacing when a worm was showing up, you know, that like the sand would just like start like shaking and like just turning into, you know what I mean? Like quicksand, basically. I can't think of a good way to say it, but like,
yeah, that's it.
Well,
you know, what you were running on before is suddenly just gives way and you sink right into it.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
It's like water. So,
well, yeah, I like your analogy to liquid, like how the sand kind of like under the influence of a creature that large, it very much behaves like water.
Yeah, yeah.
well, I think it's beyond that. I think it's more.
Okay.
I think when you're talking the original movie, the Lynch version, like the worms were literally just burrowing into the dunes by brute force, right? They're just plunging in, exploding into them. And this, it's more like they're ocean beasts getting around in the water, like the way the sand reacts to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So there's something further going on there, I think. Anyways, whatever.
No, it's super valid, man.
Valid and very cool. It's a really cool observation. You're right.
There's like a you probably heard of the dude Mark Rober or whatever. He's a guy that does YouTube videos and does weird shit. And he made a video about turning sand into a liquid, and it's like if you shoot air through it, you can actually very much make it look like a liquid. And he filled a hot tub up with sand and did that, and his nephews like all jumped into it like it was a pool, and it very much has the same effect that we're talking about here. So yeah, totally
interesting,
man. Super cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Because I'd always kind of I guess assumed it was brute force by the worms, generally speaking. And this is like, it doesn't explain how it's done, but it's like vibrational and whatever else. But I just...
Yeah, it seems like it's exactly like it's giving off some vibration that like breaks it up, you know?
Yeah.
Which is cool. It's just an extra little detail that to me made it more interesting, more alien, more weird even, you know, and more menacing too.
And totally, yeah. Menacing is definitely the way to go because I just... It's terrifying. That scene that you both were referencing where they got on the rocks, like... It's fucking terrifying, man. The thing is so huge, dude.
Yeah, or I mean, even when they're at the carryall, you know, even when they're at that scene, like, you know, when Gurney goes out to scoop them up, like the sand is breaking down and they keep like sinking in and falling over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like if Wado hadn't backed up that ornithopter right to them, they would have been fucking done.
Yeah, no doubt.
Absolutely, man.
No, I really enjoyed that detail.
Yeah.
And I really liked how the worms would like always dive deep and come from underneath and then just kind of swallow like everything that was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't come at them laterally, you know, like kind of in the first one or in the original one. Like they always would like just kind of come up from the depths, quote unquote, you know, and then just let everything just fall.
Very Sarlacc.
Yeah, it is
very Sarlaccian Jarhigo, yes.
David Sarlaccian.
Yes, it was very Sarlacc-y in its design. Bah.
I liked how the open mouth in that rock scene, it looked like an eye. I really kind of dug the iris look of the teeth inside the beast. That was cool.
Yeah.
I liked how it made that noise at him.
Yeah, like clicking or whatever.
Like with it's like inner mouth like made that like weird knocking noise at him. Like it was almost like communicating something with him.
Mm.
Yeah. The sound design in the movie in general is just fucking bananas. But like I said, the sound design based around the worms was pretty incredible.
No doubt.
Pretty sweet.
Sizzling sound when they would show up, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Very cool.
I didn't have a chance to see this one in the theater, but from what I understand, it's fucking mind-blowing in the theater with the sound. So as soon as it's available, I'm going to check it out.
One thing that I just keep talking about the worms for a second. Like one of the things I really liked about the first one was the kind of the idea that the worms were, so massive and so powerful. Like they would like generate like static electricity just from moving through the environment in the sand, you know what I mean? And you'd see that like you'd get hints of that yellow electricity or lightning as they were moving around. I really dug that about the first one, man. I thought it was a nice touch.
They talk about them like they're furnaces and stuff in the books, if memory serves. And so I feel like, we'll probably get a lot more worm action in the second movie, with the fucking maker hooks and all the riding and stuff. But that wasn't really super clearly communicated in this one. There wasn't a ton of worm in this.
Yeah, well, the rest of the story has, there's the whole, like the water of life and baby worm and, all that stuff. So I'm interested to see how they handle all of that.
Yeah.
The sand trout.
Yes, yeah, totally. The sand trout don't really show up until later, though, right? Or maybe it's...
Yeah, they're like the super baby worms, I guess,
Wait, what? Super baby worms? What do you mean?
Yeah, the sand trout, dude, yeah.
You mean like the... I feel like there was a... I don't know, I feel like my memory of the original movie was that there was a scene with a baby worm where they make it like yak up all its bile and that's the water of life. But
yep.
Yes.
I didn't... Didn't that take place? Because I don't...
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, they drown a baby worm.
Well, in the version that I saw, whatever version was on HBO Max was not that version. Either that or I zoned out during it or something, man, because I do not remember seeing that. And I could have swore it was in there.
Yeah, it's
such
in there.
An important part. It was?
In this movie?
Yeah, in both.
In Villeneuve? No, not yet. It'll
be in the second one.
Yeah, it would be in the second movie. It wouldn't be in this one.
Okay.
It's not until they get down with the Fremen and they're in the siege, and it's quite a ways into that.
Yeah, it's quite a ways
down
in.
with the Fremen, and they go into that giant cave that's like freaking
all water
Matrix. And we get a whole for 100 years.
Exactly.
Morpheus, what can we expect at the RG? Machines.
Precisely.
Yes, second movie. I imagine we'll see that.
What'd you think of Fremen?
I don't know. Like I loved. They were more developed in this one, which I really liked. Like their ways and their ideas and the sacredness of this and that and the other thing. I felt it was conveyed a lot more powerfully in this one, right? The whole scene where he fights what's his face, and there's a lot of exposition there. We really get to kind of understand, a good bit about their ways and their culture and all of that. I don't know. I really liked them a lot.
Yeah, I feel like they were definitely portrayed more like the book intended.
Yes, in
this version. Not that I loved all the actors from the Lynch version, and there's things about that movie that I love, but it's a lot of it's attached to like sentimentality and
sure,
inside jokes and such over the years. But this one, I just felt like it was very, very much closer to the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with the way the Fremen were portrayed in the original. I think they just didn't put enough into it. Like the actors did a great job with the material that they were working with, and apparently that movie was like heavily, heavily cut. So who knows what else was in it. And I don't know. I just think the overall, he spent more time on it in this one. And I think that's the right choice. I guess is maybe the better way to say it, or the way I want to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of Zendaya, or however you pronounce her name, looking in slow motion from a fucking sand dune. There's like 60 shots of her looking back at Paul.
Like, Paul, do you ever dream about anything else?
Nope.
One of my favorite things about this movie, actually, and it's the way they handled the whole Jamis fight. And like Paul like having visions earlier on, and it's like Jamis is his friend.
Yeah, that was cool.
You know, he's like talking to him and telling him about the desert and all this stuff, you know. And then, like, as it turns out, he's got to fight Jamis, and like Jamis in real life is kind of a dick. But
yep.
I just like, whereas in the Lynch version, you know, it's kind of like there's a fight, and then, you know, it's like, yeah, Jamis carried 1.5 liters. See ya. You know, this one, like that whole scene, like really carried some serious emotion. It hit me in the feels, kind of, you know. So I was like, as I was watching it, I was like, oh, who's that? You know, like that's a cool character. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing this guy in the future. And then it turns out that he's actually Jamis, and that's it.
Yeah,
like, that's his arc in the story. But it made you connect to it in a much deeper way than just, you know, suddenly having him show up and get into the fight.
Yeah, I like how,
if that makes any sense.
It does. I like how I don't know what the word is. He's just such a grumpy fuck, you know? He's so pissed that Paul took his Mala pistol that he wants to fight him, you know? He's like really antsy and wants to prove that this kid didn't best him and he got lucky. And I just love that kind of fighter ego and calling him out, and, you know, the Amtal rule and stuff. It's really interesting. And Stilgar's just like, nah, man, come on, you know, like, don't kill this kid. He's just not having any of it. He's just like, fuck this. I'm going to fight this kid.
Yeah.
It's really well handled.
Yeah. But in Paul's visions, he's like so cool, you know, like he's like super likable, you know, like he tells that, like, I don't know, there's one point where he's like, you know, the mission of life isn't to, like, you know, try and figure out what it is. It's to surrender to it and go with the flow or whatever, you know, it's like that kind of story or whatever. And it's just really cool, you know. I'm like, oh, who is this guy? He's awesome. I like him, you know.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, half hour later, he's like, fucking dick, you took my Mala pistol. I'm going to kill you.
Fucking kill you, bro. Yeah. Yeah. I think I really liked the friend thing, because I don't know how you feel about it, but I kind of wish the friend of Jamis scene in the Siege closed out this film, because I feel like that friend of Jamis, or however you pronounce his name, the friend of Jamis scene where, you know, Paul cries and everyone's like taken aback by giving water for the dead and stuff, is such a powerful kind of moment in the book, and I like how they reference it here by saying this is your friend, you know, like.
Yeah. And
I'm curious how you feel about the fact that the friend of Jamis scene is not in the film, and it kind of ends off after the fight.
I can't really comment on that. I don't remember that, unless I'm not understanding what you're saying.
I think, well, they go back to the Siege and, like, they divvy up Jamis's possessions, and they put him in, like, the still, and they get his water out and, like, all that stuff. And, like, Paul cries during it, and they're like taken aback by it, because he's like, the Fremen don't cry.
Giving water for the dead.
So it's like, oh, he's shedding water for the dead, yeah.
But it's like, it's also, you know, there's so much inner dialogue in the books, and like they did that in the first movie, where there's lots of, you know, self-narration and a person's thinking out loud, and there's a lot of exposition from that. And it's, I'm glad that it isn't in this movie in a way, but at the same time, a lot is missed as a result. And the friend of Jamis scene in the book is just, Paul has no idea what to do and how to act. And everyone's going up and taking one of Jamis's possessions and being like, I was a friend of Jamis. He saved my life in the blah, blah, blah battle. And they like take one of his possessions. And then another person says, I was a friend of Jamis or whatever. And then at the end, Paul realizes he needs to go and say the same thing. And he's like, I was a friend of Jamis. He, whatever, taught me that life is important, or some fucking profound thing, and then cries. And I feel like it's a really important scene for Paul, and like him incorporating into the Siege, and really makes it, hammers home how important, you know, that fight with Jamis is to Paul's story and development. And it just, I mean, I guess it'll have to open the next movie or something, but I just feel like 2 years from now, you're just going to be like, oh yeah, he killed that guy. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know how it's going to feel.
Yeah, I would be a little worried that he might skip over it. I'm a little worried that the second movie is going to like
skip ahead 5 years or whatever.
It's going to do a time jump. Yeah, it's going to be like do these like, this montage of like shit and then pick up somewhere else. Like I really hope it doesn't do that.
Well, that's very much how it goes too. It's, multiple years of Rabin fucking with the Fremen and Paul becoming, the leader of the Fremen. So I really hope they don't skip straight to that.
Yeah, I don't think you will, but it is always a possibility.
You all right there, bud?
Yeah. Good, man.
You doing bong hits or something?
Yeah, bro, You guys were talking about something, and it made me start thinking of something, and I just got lost in my head for a second. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
I'm going to have to go ahead and charge for that tire. Sorry. Okay, all right. Randy, why don't you go have a seat on the couch, bro?
What'd you guys think of
Put on some
Javier
muscle.
Bardem?
Nah. Just go get me a beer.
I'm sorry, man. What were you guys just talking about? I was super into it, and then I just got lost.
The friend of Jamis scene in the books.
Yes, right. All right. I commented on that. I don't remember that at all from the books.
Yeah.
I really need to reread it.
And then it was whether or not he'll do a time jump with the second movie and go straight to Paul being like well integrated into the Sieges and Fremen culture.
Yeah, but I don't, and I mean, this is also from my lack of knowledge about the book, but like we get so many like kind of vision / flashback scenes of him talking to Jamis and like him teaching him these things. Like you were kind of talking about that a minute ago, Ben.
Yeah.
Like what is up with that?
It's alternate realities. Like before Paul has an awakening where he becomes a prophet, the melange affects him in a way where he can see some of the threads, some of the possibilities. And so like,
right.
He talks about it as a nexus point in the book where the fight with Jamis is a nexus point and he can see the future like he's standing on like a desert, and sometimes he can see over a dune and sometimes there's like a dune in the way. So it's like seeing over a mountain to the next mountain or whatever, And so he describes his ability to see the future as having limitations. And one of those nexus point moments where he doesn't know what's beyond it is that fight with Jamis. And so like he could die there or he could live there, and it kind of his hallucinations explore all of the possibilities. And so I would imagine him talking with Jamis is like one of the random outcomes that could happen, but more than likely one of them is going to die kind of thing. That's kind of the vibe I took from it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I want to say it's probably Quinn's ideas, but I was watching just some random videos on YouTube today, and it had to have been Quinn's ideas.
Yeah.
But he was talking about how the visions were like, kind of like what a dream would really be like. He sees Jamis as his teacher in his dream, in his visions, and it's like Chani kills him. Chani kills him in his visions, but like in actuality, it's like she gives him the Chris knife, and when he kills Jamis, that's when he changes. That's when he becomes
Muad'Dib.
That's like the moment of change. It's like even I don't know. They're like just like whispering in like weird like Bene Gesserit voices going off in his head, saying that like when you kill, you will be killed.
The Atreides must die.
So it's like he fights Jamis and kills Jamis, and Jamis is sort of his initiation to the tribe, and he sort of does teach him the ways of the Fremen. And in a way, Chani does kill him because she gives him the knife that he kills Jamis with.
Yeah, I was
like, yeah, that makes sense.
It's a great description of dreams, where you think you understand the dreams or whatever, but they tend to have totally different meanings. So I buy that.
In general, I liked the inclusion of his visions, and I liked the way they handled it. Like, I thought it was cool.
I like that they put a lot of focus on the visions. I feel like they weren't clear enough, but it's again me coming from like not knowing the source material as well. So I don't know. Maybe they did justice to it. Maybe not. One thing I did really like about the first one that was missing from this one was the inner monologue, the whispering.
Yeah.
Like I felt like you were saying this before, Chad. I think that's where I got lost when you guys were talking before. Was I really thought that was a clever way to handle stuff that the character having thoughts, and you could read it when you're reading the book, but it's hard to convey in a film. And I thought it was a clever way to do it. And I do think that there's stuff that you miss in this one because of that. Like
It's a huge part of the book.
It really is, right? And like I kind of feel like we've talked a lot in the last couple of episodes about, whose POV are we in, in these various different movies that we watch, right? And I really feel like you're kind of inside Paul's head with him in the first movie because of that.
Yep.
And I really like that a lot. You really get that sense of like viewing everything from Paul's point of view. So I don't know. It kind of bothered me that wasn't in there, even though if it was exactly the same, I'd kind of be like, well, this is just like the first one, whatever. I don't know. There was something about that was powerful, though.
I don't think you can do it in this new one, but I definitely understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I know that, and I agree with you. Like, I don't think you could have done it with this one, but it's like
it's one of the things that people pan about that movie, though. Like, people hated that. So people fucking hate that movie. People hate that movie.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. But I think I probably like it more because it's some nostalgic attachment.
Yeah.
Toto and just all the bonkers.
Toto, man.
Totally.
All the bonkers wacky shit from Sting is in it.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like,
there's no fade in this one.
I don't know. Whatever. Yeah.
Well, the inner monologue, inner
nonsense.
dialogue stuff is fucking half of the book. Like half of what you learn about the world is from inner dialogue with the various characters thinking to themselves while, maneuvering in a scene. So like maybe it's just that doesn't translate to film, but it's a massive part of the books. And I love that in the books. I love that it has that, I don't know, it pulls the curtain back and you get to actually like think like the characters while observing the characters. It's a really interesting way to communicate like a universe and the development of these characters. But I get why people have a real hard time with it in the first film, Lynch's film, and I don't know if it would have been achievable here. But it is definitely, as a result of not being there, it's definitely a loss. It's just, I don't think that it could have been done any other way.
Anyways, I like the Cinnamon Toast Crunch nightmares.
I think it's just one of those things that gets lost in the medium to change from a book to a film, and that's pretty much all there is to say about that yet.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if, I'm very familiar with the source material, so I feel like I might be taking for granted with this version of the movie that some things may not be clear to people who've never actually
I'm very curious about that.
Read it or know anything about it at all.
Yeah.
The books.
I'd love to talk to somebody who hadn't read any of this stuff just to hear what they glean from it, because there's just, you put the pieces together because you've read the books fucking 8 times or whatever, You're like, oh, yeah, that's this and that's that. And, you're following along, no problem.
Sure. It's a massive advantage.
And of course, anyone who hasn't read the books should die.
Yeah, for sure. Buy my Chris knife. That was the nerdiest thing I've said in a while. So you said you want to talk about the sets?
Yes.
Yeah, I really dug the, like, I don't know if this comes from the book or what, but like on Arrakis in particular, like the idea of everything being made out of like really thick walled stone to mimic a cave just made so much sense to me. And I really dug it. Like the giant, thick, like 1.5 foot thick stone doors and, to the outside and even in between like the rooms, I really liked that a lot. Like it made, how do I say this? Like it's very like simple but effective technology. You know what I mean? Based on existing principles of like the world and like heat and temperature. You know what I mean? Like in the sense that like, if you go into a cave, it's the same temperature all year round, right? It's, cool in the summer and warm in the winter, right? If you build, you go down like a foot and a half. Shit. Like I guess I'm talking about like the insulating power of like the earth and like rock and you know what I mean? And like it just there you go, thermal mass. So like the design of the various buildings in Erection, like it just seemed very well thought out in that way. I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this, but I think you guys get what I'm saying. Job. Like
I think it's like it's an interesting observation. Go ahead, Ben.
I was just going to say Erection is like a city of like artificial sieges, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Or it's like an artificial siege, the way it's built. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, it's like
there you go.
An observation that I made coming over here to Australia is like being a carpenter back in the day. I came over, I was like, oh, I'll just be a carpenter over here too. And it's like, nope, there's no wood, man. So like everything's made out of bricks. And, it's a gigantic fucking sandy spot. And so they make bricks out of the sand or whatever, and back home in New England, everything's made out of wood. And I feel like so often, so much of a culture and so much of an area and like what is a dwelling is based on the resources available. And I feel like your example here of Arrakis is like the thermal mass is all they've got. And it's a very obvious solution that utilizes limited resources. And it like, the sets visually conveyed that really well, and I totally agree.
Yeah, I think that like that's what I like about the Dune universe. Like I sort of was trying to connect this to what you were saying before about like technology in this world.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they've given up trying to like make technological things that are better than the natural environment.
Yeah,
either on a planet or in space. And they've given up on the arrogance of that in favor of just like utilizing principles that are already existing in the universe, in space, and on planets.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Totally.
Like as such, the thermal mass idea with the buildings,
or the ornithopters,
like Ben said, like it's like a giant siege. Yeah, exactly. Like the ornithopters, like the shields and using swords and really developing like fighting styles and like the way that the Fremen live with the world, just all of that stuff. Jesus, dude. You know what I mean? Like it has a very, I like the vibe that it has.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the vibe that I really dig about it. It's like, it's so far in the future, man. Like one thing I was reading was suggesting that, this takes place like 23,000 years from now.
Yeah.
Like, so I like the kind of simplicity of things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
The Fremen tending the planet was somewhat communicated here with when Paul was using his whatever iPhone 6000 to project some of the future Wikipedia, and he was like reading about the kangaroo mouse and the weeds that were planted and the plants that were planted by the Fremen and stuff. I like that the Fremen are tending the planet, and like you don't pick that up generally, but it becomes clear as the story develops that they are trying to transform the planet, and you get that vibe a bit here. And I like that they're tending the planet and taking the biomimicry stuff, like they'll like take inspiration from some of the natural solutions that the animals use to survive.
I like that he learns the Fremen desert dance from future TikTok.
Totally. That was always a cool idea in the book, and when you see like a weird little silly Fremen walk dance, it doesn't quite translate into the visual medium, but I love it.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
From TikTok, I love it. We should talk about Jessica, man. How do you feel like she was handled? Why not?
Did you just say why?
I'm kidding. How is she handled? I don't know. I feel like your guys' knowledge of the books is way better than mine, so I feel like you're constantly comparing it to the books. But I I don't know. I really like the original portrayal in the first one, and I thought Rebecca Ferguson was great, and I like the the voice. All of that stuff is great, and the hand signals too.
That was
Really,
cool.
I dug that. Yeah, between mostly with her, but her and Paul. So I mean, what I do remember of the book, it was that sort of conflict of giving Leto what he wants and obeying the order, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Obeying the order. Whatever.
Whatever, man.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of. I like Rebecca Ferguson, and there's a lot more to come with Jessica. So I don't know. I'm just I like what I've seen so far, and I'm interested to see what how things progress.
I feel like she was portrayed. The character was portrayed as a bit weak, which I found a little disappointing. Jessica.
Really?
Yeah, maybe it's that you can't really, like, one of the things I think that's so impossible about translating the book to a film is just how wooden the characters are intentionally, where the Bene Gesserit are always like, they have such total control of themselves that they it's always like that one muscle in their eye twitched for 2 milliseconds and I saw the entire purpose of the universe. And it's just like, if that was in a movie, it would just be like a person sitting there motionless and it just wouldn't translate to a visual medium, but I just found like the amount of times that Jessica was like semi-hysterically almost like weeping. It was just like, she's such a badass and such a strong person that I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but I feel like it comes back to the fact that like the visual medium, you need some emotion, I guess. And so all the characters are a bit more emotive than they are in the books, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's not like she shows any emotion in front of anybody, really.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like the way they are telling the story here, she knows what the fuck is going on. She knows what's going to happen. So she's dealing with all these emotions about, losing Leto and, and Paul and, just everything. Like, so I think it's not like she was like that in front of the, Charlotte Rampling.
Yeah.
Just like that in the hallway.
Yeah.
Other than that, she was absolutely badass. I mean, I thought they handled the scene in the Ornithopter really well with the Harkonnen.
Yeah, that was
guards.
cool, man.
That whole thing was quite badass. And then,
excellent. Yes.
She fucking hands Stilgar's ass to him. No problem.
Yeah.
So, it's there. I think, it might've been a wise choice to give her some emotion just to keep you from thinking she's like the fucking Terminator or something.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm driving at. I totally agree. Yeah. I find myself a little bit torn about it, but I think you're dead right because she would have totally just been a Terminator. I'm curious if they'll spend more time on the Bene Gesserit in the other film. I feel like the Lynch film did a little bit better of a job of describing how powerful the Bene Gesserit were.
Yeah, they haven't really gotten into it, but there's a whole shit ton coming with, with Jessica becoming the new Saidina and
that's true.
Taking the water of life and all that stuff. Like, should be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think this is, it's a bit meta, but I'm hoping that this movie can help. I just feel like this is an opportunity for something to take the place of all of the Marvel bullshit. Like Game of Thrones, I guess, was probably the last kind of cultural juggernaut that wasn't the MCU. And I feel like everyone's getting superhero fatigue. And I feel like, Paul Atreides as a prophet and where that story goes is so different from an MCU style save the day Captain America superhero fucking high five bullshit that I'm hoping that it kind of catches on. And I feel like I saw some Reddit threads here and there where people were talking about how they enjoyed this movie and it was kind of, I think the thread was something like, I wonder what people that have never read the books before think. And there was a bunch of Redditors chiming in, being like, my buddy had never seen this and he's obsessed with MCU and he watched this and was blown away, And I'm kind of hoping that it captures enough interest from people that maybe aren't familiar with the source material and kind of like moves the ball in the direction of maybe a more Dune-esque, creative property as opposed to the superhero bullshit. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, it does. I like where you're going with this. You're like talking about elevating like the world.
Well, it just makes sense that something needs to come along that's going to take us away from the fucking Avengers, you know? And, like, I love the Avengers, whatever, cool, yeah, but, like, 30 movies in, it's like I'd like to see something else, and I happen to be familiar with this source material, but I'm hoping that people that aren't seem to be like, oh, this is cool, and I'm hoping that it kind of nudges people in that direction, I guess.
I hope it gets more...
Something new.
I hope it gets more books made into movies.
Yeah, there you go.
Or series, you know, and handled...
Yeah, like... But,
and handled well, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that...
I think it's high time, and yeah, I mean, I would love to see something like Hyperion, or you know, culture books, or you know, I'd even like to see somebody do a good version of like you know, Ender,
sure,
or something like that. You know, like any of that stuff, or you know,
Revelation Space.
I mean, it seems to be happening, but you know, I don't know if I think the Apple TV Foundation thing is what I'm talking about, but this movie is definitely what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm feeling you.
I don't know if they got to stop making, you know, Marvel movies, but,
No.
you know, the two things can exist simultaneously.
But I feel like Blade Runner 2049, like, I think was a fucking amazing movie, but it just didn't resonate with the you know, broader population. Whereas I kind of hope this.
Yeah, but neither did
might
the
a
first
bit more.
movie, you know?
Yeah, fair. But I hope this does a bit more, you know?
Yeah, he's right.
I think so.
I agree. I'm with you. I like your optimistic.
I think there's an appetite for it. And
Yeah, I like your optimism there. You know, that would be cool because I feel, yeah, whatever we've talked about Marvel fatigue. We don't need to beat that to death again.
But this story, the all the way through to Children of Dune story, is like it's the Star Wars story or the Neo story that like. So often I find that I want like a Star Wars that goes a bit dark, you know? And, you know, I really enjoyed the Nolan Batmans because they did go a bit dark. And I like the idea of a darker Messiah story.
Super dark.
And the whole like chosen one that saves the day, that everyone's, you know, happy, glasses half full, optimism, the world is a great place kind of stories. They're just so saccharine. And I feel like this is like
I agree.
not that. And I really think there's a place for, you know, a little bit of a darker universe, and I think the Dune universe fits that bill.
You guys, you're fucking dark
stuff. I just want to be a bald goth dude, you know, sitting in motor oil.
Well, then go do it.
You want to be goth Mr. Clean?
Yeah, I want to be goth Mr. Clean.
Jesus.
Well, I just think it's realistic to have like a Messiah that can see the future fucking fail miserably. Like it's like it would destroy you. You know, it's not an unrealistic thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean these books were written to be as cautionary tales against, you know, putting your faith in charismatic leaders.
There you go. Exactly.
That was the whole point. But yeah.
But what?
Thank you for coming to my goth TED Talk.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm really vibing with your, you know, I need dark things in my life.
I don't need dark things. I just need
Vibe,
less saccharine things.
Or I need the good guys to lose, or you know, whatever. I don't know that I share that
Maybe I'm just in a Grievo mood.
sentiment.
Maybe. I agree with Ben. I don't know.
I think I'm just connecting more to. I would like to see more, you know, science fiction literary works be made into film.
Yeah.
They don't have to be.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
They don't
man.
have to be the, you know, dark, malevolent stories.
I want to see real artistic vision. Like I'm feeling you, Ben. You know, like take these great properties and like make them into something amazing. You know.
I just don't want to see so much saccharine bullshit, I guess, is where I'm coming from. But whatever.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you, dude.
On that note,
Bits and bobs.
bits and bobberts.
No.
Yeah.
I already bitted and bobbed throughout this. Worms, Jamas,
That's fair. We did kind of bit and bob the whole thing.
fighting. Yeah.
I kind of liked, I liked Yue. I liked the actor that played Yue. I liked how he was, like, doing weird, like, fucking Tai Chi, massage 10-finger death snakes of doom or whatever to, like, be like, his heart is fine, you know?
Yeah, that was
10-finger
interesting
death
for
punch.
sure. That was yeah.
Yes. I liked the character. I liked the inclusion of that Asian, you know, medicine like a very Qigong kind of feel to
Yeah,
it. I dug that.
exactly.
Definitely. Good point. Ben said it. Amba said it. Sound design was bananas in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
The music and the sound was phenomenal.
Yes. And the score was amazing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I agree. Also, the costumes were just off the wall.
Yeah, they're great.
Really damn good, dude. And I don't know if this was the case, but like I was feeling like when the Emperor's Herald came to Caladan, like the dudes with the fishbowl heads that were orange
Guild.
with the white.
Totally Guild,
Yeah, they were the Guild navigators, like just completely soaked in spice. Like like watching the first one, like, oh my God, the Guild navigator with the weird
vagina
sort of
face.
vaginal mouth.
Yeah.
Ugh, gross, dude. And like just water with like spice. I don't know. Like it was just a weird
Well,
way to do it.
it is canon that the actual navigators are, severely mutated and live in tanks. So the guildsmen that were in this were like acolytes, they were like in training if they were still like walking around,
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
I liked them better, but you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I'm just gonna shut up.
The dude that played like the herald of the emperor or whatever was really good.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah, he was.
That was a cool scene. A gigantic ship, and the door opens up, and there are tiny little dots walking down the ramp. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. The ships were super cool, super simplistic too. I really dug that. What did you guys think about? One thing we didn't even talk about was like there's in the first one, like we know plenty about the Emperor. Like there's no Emperor in this movie at all.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, it was interesting. I suppose it would have been pretty disorienting to jump cut over to the Emperor doing his thing, but I don't know. I didn't miss the Emperor in this, where I missed a lot of other stuff. So
Not saying that I did, dude. Yep.
Yeah, I think it was kind of handled well to keep the Emperor in the shadows at this point, sort of pulling the strings from beyond the camera, as it were.
Yeah.
But we get enough of they talk about him enough.
Yeah, it's clear what's going on there, I think, for sure.
Exactly.
But the Sardaukar were definitely interesting.
They were cool.
Super cool. I couldn't stop thinking about that Klingon song, dude. Whenever that bit came on, and they were doing
the throat
weird
singing?
chanting in the rain.
Yeah, with the blood oaths or whatever, blood sacrifice shit.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was.
Bunch of people strung upside down, just bleeding. It's like, all right, there you go. I dug Liette.
Yes.
That was an interesting switch.
Ooh,
and
yeah.
I feel like Liette was probably one of the better examples of a character having a decent amount of time, but I feel like a little bit more time there would have been good too. But who's watching
The
something?
hell?
Don't know. You all right, Kev? What are you doing, man?
What is going on?
I can't stop watching this Klingon singing video, too.
Yeah.
Because that's what the throat singing reminded me of in the movie. Whatever, it's stupid, man. Keep going.
You'll have to share that one with the class after. Yeah, Sharon Duncan Brewster was great. I liked her as Kynes.
Super awesome. Yes, loved it.
I don't know what anybody was worried about. Like,
Yeah.
they gender swapped it. It's like, I don't know. Did they ever even actually say whether Kynes was a man or a woman in the book? I'm not even sure.
Is it Kynes Shani's dad or something? Am
Oh,
No,
I
dude.
misremembering that?
It sounds like a bunch of made up shit.
Well, maybe
it's like, no, don't get started.
maybe I'm asking the person who's read the books. Then, Benny, am I misremembering that?
I want to say you're right about that, but it's been a long time since I've actually sat
can't
down.
remember.
There's some kind of twist with Kynes.
That was a subtlety from the books that was missing here, where like Dr. Kynes is the judge of the change, and then there's also a person named Liette who is like in charge of the Fremen, and it becomes clear that they're the same person or whatever as time goes on. So yeah, I thought it was
Right.
reasonably well handled here. She was great.
Yes.
Yes. You mentioned the space bagpipes last week. I definitely want to call that out as a great bit. The space bagpipes are fucking amazing.
Great bit.
Space bagpipes are fucking awesome.
Definitely, dude. Like, talk about making like some we've talked about this numerous times. Like talking about making some weird futuristic music, like they nailed it. It was great.
Yeah. The bagpipe stuff was among the best.
Yep.
Yeah,
For sure.
We didn't really talk about Gurney. Brolin did a good job.
Yeah, man. I just
No
really
balisets,
wish they
that's
hadn't
all right.
edited out the fucking 9-string baliset.
No.
9.
You know,
Back when I was in the academy, we used to play the 9-string baliset every night. Baliset to my ready room. All right.
you know, Babbiday.
Jesus, dude. All right, I'm unfortunately running out of gas.
Yeah,
I'm running
I
out
know.
of coffee.
Yeah. I think we're there.
And Chad is like sick as fuck. Let's wrap this up, man.
We're basically there.
Yeah, I can't think of anything we haven't covered.
I mean, there's probably a couple, but like, whatever. Brolin was great. There we go. Done. Nuggets.
Nuggative.
Whoa.
Oh, like that.
I don't have any nuggets, but I do have a quote from Villeneuve that I thought was fitting, because it was going to be impossible to make this without any sort of issues, no matter who you were. And I was listening to an interview where he said, movies are made of victories and failures. There are some moments in Dune where I knew I was not good enough. And I really love how self-aware he is and how self-critical he is, because I feel like it makes the moments that didn't quite hit the mark. Like, I just feel like it's such a tall order for anyone that it's kind of a prickish thing to be like, fucking this part was stupid. I hate Denis Villeneuve. Like, the dude really went to bat and really cared deeply about the material, and he did a pretty fucking solid job. And I love that he's self-aware enough to know that he didn't hit the mark in some of these spots. And so it was a cool quote.
Yeah, he's the man. He's up there, man. He certainly doesn't get any lack of praise from us.
No way.
He's definitely, I think between him and Alex Garland, I'm pretty pumped for anything those guys do.
Yeah, Nolan too for me.
Definitely.
Word. You got any nuggets there, Kevaruni?
Not really.
Nuggative.
Nothing really jumped out at me. I'll pass. There were more interesting nuggets about the original one, but I didn't really want to nug out about that.
Word.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean, perhaps that one should get its own show at some point.
Yeah, we should do one at some time.
yeah, that's a good idea. It's such a good movie, and I was prepared to talk about it more, but I'm glad we didn't. So it's fine.
I feel like I don't know. I don't know if I vibe with the format of like lensing one movie through another movie kind of a thing. I feel like I would rather just give everything its due. And I didn't really think about it until we started in, and I was like, oh no, here we are.
Yeah, we didn't really go too crazy there though. So
No, it's fine. It's fine either way.
deaths.
Dude. There's 2 deaths. Your Star Wars milk death, and then I had that dumb Sandpaperville comment, and then like I had another Star Wars death that I didn't even record.
Yeah.
I had a Star Wars death too, but I forgot what
mentioned
it was
the
now.
Matrix as well. And you guys did the machines thing. That's the Matrix. Like, you guys had some Matrix tests.
That's
in there.
true. Yeah.
It is true what many of you have heard.
It is true what many of you have heard. There will be machines.
Mm-hmm.
They will be there.
Apparently, my apathy knows no bounds, Jar-Ego.
Oh, the Sarlacc pit. That's what I. Yeah,
There you go.
That was my Star Wars death. In reference to the worms.
Your ratings?
Shai Hulud.
Muad'Dib. I'm gonna give this movie a flippin'. I'm gonna give it a 9. What?
You want to pull out Momoa for that one and blow out another sidewall?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know, dude. I'm gonna have to go ahead and give this movie a 9.
Because I'm in it.
Things that dragged it down to a 9. Jason Momoa acting like dude Aquaman. And some of those little things we talked about that he left out. Other than that, solid as fuck. 9.
Love it.
Do either one of you want to go next?
I feel. Yeah, I'll go. I feel like this one. I think I need to rate this again when the two movies are out. But yeah, it's a solid movie. Definitely didn't fail, which was a huge risk for this particular work. And I think it's just going to keep getting better the more I watch it. I think I'm going to enjoy it more and more every time. So it's a 6.3.
Sure.
And I think when combined with the next movie, it'll climb the ranks very steadily. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. If you haven't read the books and haven't seen it, please tell me about it. I'm very curious to hear what you have to say, just because I would be very curious how enjoyable it is for someone who hasn't read any of it.
The books.
Yeah, dude.
check it out.
All you people, man, like, we love that you guys love this show. Start talking about shit on whatever the hell it is.
Start talking, man.
Also, if you haven't seen the movie, you've just had much of it spoiled for you. So
That's true.
Yes.
take that. Yeah, I think 9 is a good place to land for this one. It is not perfect, but it is very good. And
You're perfect.
you know, I have to say I'm happy. I'm really happy that it's a good movie. I don't think we'll get some more Dune material now for sure. Whereas if this flopped or if it was bad, that would be it for Dune forever. You know, so. I'm excited. I'm excited to see more. And, you know, I've watched this 4 times already. And I'm probably going to put it down for a while.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
But it's absolutely, it's got some really great stuff. Some stuff that I just don't really recall seeing in anything else. So check it out, I guess, if you're into that kind of thing.
If you're into that kind of thing.
Or don't.
Oh, lordy lord.
Talk about it or don't. That's all right. We know you won't.
Check it out. Watch it.
All right. What Alga Clops? What are we doing next week?
Next week we're doing Starsky and Hutch, which I don't even know which one that is, but cool. Which one is that?
Oh, man. Awesome.
Is that the, like, fucking...
Bacardi and Cola, do it. Do it.
That is what it
There you
is
go.
right there, dude.
That's the whole movie right there.
Do it.
You're obsessed with that one, aren't you, Kev? This is your pick.
Bacardi and Cola, do it. Do it. All right, then.
There you go.
There you have it, folks. All that. Chad, you've said it so many times in various episodes. I always thought it was from Dune. I always thought you were imitating what's her face from Dune.
What?
And you go, grandfather.
Grandfather.
Is that from Dune?
Grandfather.
Yeah, that's Alia. What are you talking about?
That's what I thought, but it's not. It's not in the original movie.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Are you the mother and father of the baby now, Merlin?
I was watching very closely, dude. to
Yeah,
see
it's
if it
the
was
scene.
there.
It's the scene at the end when she's like in the Emperor's room. Doesn't she say that?
For he is the Quizard Haderach.
Holy shit! You sound exactly like her. That was creepy, dude. I don't know. No, I didn't see it. I was really watching for it too.
Paying attention. Yeah, I didn't. I only watched that movie up until the end of this movie. I was like, just leave it there. So I don't remember. Grandfather. Yeah, that's what it's from. Maybe it's from the book that's not in the movie or some shit.
Well, maybe it's from one of the other various cuts of this movie.
No, she does. She pokes him with the Gom Jabbar and he inflates and goes up to the ceiling.
The Baron?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I think
I'm lost in my own
you were
topic.
having
I created the
spice
topic
visions,
and I'm
dude.
lost in it.
I think you fell asleep halfway through that movie.
Having spice visions? Yeah, exactly.
Visitations from
Really
Powdered
understand.
Toast Man.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, dude. Totally. All right. There you have it, folks. All that, and thanks for joining us for Dune. Blah, blah, blah.
And a
See ya.
basket of fries.
And a basket of fries.
See you later.
Later.
And that's going to wrap up this week's episode, folks. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so in a number of wonderful ways. You can support us on Patreon. That's right, patreon.com/EBD podcast. Throw us a buck or two. We'd appreciate it. You can also rate us and review us wherever you get your podcast muffins. And you can tell a friend to check out the show. Very powerful way to grow the show, or rather help grow the show. You can find the show notes for this podcast in your podcast app of choice or wherever you get your podcast. Or no, that's not right. Or go to our website. There you go. Go to our website, ebd.com/episode.
That's not our website, bro.
/ebd. Oh shit, you're right. All right, let me back that up. Well, ebd.fm/episodes/131. Also, as always, don't forget to check us out on social media. We use the handle @EBD Podcast on all of the other social media channels that we're allegedly on. So check those out. And that's it. Thanks for joining us. Join us next week. We love you. So long for now, folks.
Everybody dies.
Beady, beady, beady.
Grandfather.